What is a xylopolist? Well, how do you spell it? It's Xylopolist. Xylopolist. I had to look it up. Xylopolist is a very underutilized term that John is using to describe someone who sells wood products. So there you go. Hat tip to you, John. Way to stand out. I love it. I've told so many people about this, and it's got to appear on a business card very, very soon. We got to do it.
Put that coffee down.
I'm not here to waste your time, okay? I certainly hope you're not here to waste mine. So I'm going to keep this short.
Helen, we're both in sales. Let me tell you why I suck as a salesman.
The most valuable commodity I know of is information. Wouldn't you agree?
Coffee's for closers only.
Well, hello there, friends. Welcome back to the Behind Your Back podcast with me, Bradley Hartman. On the show, we're going to help you sell more, faster, at higher margins, and have more fun doing it. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Capital One Trade Credit. If you are interested in increasing cash flow while increasing revenue, while decreasing risk, that's right, increasing revenue and cash flow while decreasing risk by leveraging state-of-the-art, powerful digital platform that makes it easier for your customers to buy from you, well, my friend, you want to check out Capital One Trade Credit. Now, this episode is our fifth and final in our mini series. Not the whole thing. We're not done. We're just getting started. But in this mini series that we have been sharing over the last week and a half or so, as we have been launching our OSR Academy, our Outside Sales Rep Academy, 15 months long, $1,500 a month. This is our first cohort, and it's going to launch in September of this year. We only have 24 seats available, and almost all of them are sold out. So if you're interested, now is the time to connect with us. But that's not what this episode is about. This episode is featuring our all-star lineup, our panel of leaders who were part of our Sales Fundamentals Workshop. Now, what is that? Well, first and foremost, our Sales Fundamentals Workshop is our live 2.5-day event that we host annually in Fort Worth in April. And a seat in our Sales Fundamentals Workshop is included in our OSR Academy, which leads to the question, well, what are these sales fundamentals? The 4 sales fundamentals that we have shared repeatedly over these last several episodes are time management, pipeline management, goal setting, and prospecting. So in our Sales Fundamentals Workshop, we have a day of training. We make it very interactive. We make it very fun. We get people out of their seats. We get them collaborating with different people. We get them on a bus. We take them to different places. We have a lot of fun and make it really, really immersive. And then once they leave, we begin our MAX. These are our monthly accountability calls where we get together with all our Sales Fundamental Workshop alumni going back to 2019. Everyone gets access to our online community where we get together and talk about the fundamentals. We talk about what we're dealing with, and we support each other and share best ideas to help us all navigate these crazy times that we're in this very demanding and difficult profession of LBM sales. And because we know LBM sales is a team sport and we love collaborating with the best minds around the country, like we're doing in the OSR Academy, if you have downloaded that slide deck and you have seen our board of advisors, we have folks like Nick Kukin, Mike McDowell, Thea Dudley, Aaron Plummer of Hancock Lumber, a whole host of builders who are going to be part of this, sharing their knowledge of what they want to see in our sales professionals. We firmly believe that by combining the best of what we each can bring to the table, we can create a significantly better product. So really collaborative on our end within the OSR Academy. And you see the same thing in our Sales Fundamentals Workshop. Again, our 2.5-day event. And that's what this episode is about. We want to highlight a few sections of our day 2 panel conference where we had some leaders from across the country come in to share context about what it's like in their shoes to hopefully help us sell to them and make it easier for them to buy. Which leads to the question, who was on the panel? Who are these people? In no particular order, here is the lineup we had. from our April 2022 Sales Fundamentals Workshop who interacted with our attendees. We had Miss Nikki James of Ashton Woods. We had Adam Lingenfelter of Lingenfelter Homes in Texas. And interestingly enough, he used to work for Builders First Source. So he's been on the other side of the desk. He was a sales trainer for an LBM dealer, ultimately that was acquired by BFS. And then he achieved his lifelong dream of becoming a home builder and has been really successful. So he was fantastic. We had Mr. Mike Barrett of Barrett Homes, really high-end custom builder in Chicago. We had Mr. Mark Scherer of Scherer Brothers Lumber Company in the state of Minnesota. He's been on the show multiple times before. We had Mr. Bobby Kruger of the Kruger Group and Maverick Development based in Cleveland, Ohio. We had Mr. Abhi Singh, executive at New South Construction Supply and star of episode number 255, which we recorded while we were together in Fort Worth. The videos are available on YouTube of that conversation, and that's been one of our most downloaded episodes recently. So if you haven't listened to Abhi Singh's episode 255, I would strongly recommend it to a friend. And last, but certainly not least, not because her last name begins with Z, but maybe because of that, Miss Jen Zuern of Zuern Building Products in Wisconsin. So that is our very esteemed lineup, and it was a great group, and I think they provided so much value and insight. So we pulled a couple of these clips to share with you. So 3 of these clips really stood out, so we wanted to share them with you. Now, this first clip, the question was asked by the xylopolist, John Wayland of Mid-Cape Lumber. Now, what is a xylopolist? Well, how do you spell it? It's XYLOPOLIST, xylopolist. I had to look it up. Xylopolist is a very underutilized term that John is using to describe someone who sells wood products. So there you go. Hat tip to you, John. Way to stand out. I love it. I've told so many people about this, and it's got to appear on a business card very, very soon. We got to do it. Well, John Whalen asks, is there anything specifically that a sales rep has done to truly stand out? And we get some very unique responses from our panel. And in order, Bobby Kruger of the Kruger Group and Maverick Development answers first. And then he is followed by a very powerful story by Mr. Adam Lingenfelter of Lingenfelter Homes. Here you go. Listen for yourself.
I definitely walked away from meetings and I look at sales or any of these things as relationships and partnerships, right? I know we were talking about partnership is kind of a generic term, but the life cycle of these projects sometimes are 3 or 4 years. So if someone I walk away from and maybe that particular product isn't what I need, I will figure out a way to work with that person because of the experience I had, for sure.
For me, I got a call from an insurance broker, basically wanting to sell us general liability insurance and all that. First off, I'll say generally I get contacted probably 1,000 times a week by people trying to sell. So it's a pain point when you pick up the phone and it's somebody trying to sell you. But right out of his mouth, he said, "Hey, Adam, I'm not going to waste your time. If you could just give me 5 minutes, if you don't feel like I provided value in that 5 minutes, I'll send you a $50 gift card." I'm like, okay. I mean, it shocked me because, I hear so much, and we talked a ton of time. I used to train salespeople for a long, long time and really have heard just about everything. I'd never heard something that direct, and for me, it was like perfect. And we're buying from him now 4 years. Now we've been doing insurance with the guy, and it was just it just caught me off guard that I said, yeah, absolutely. And he set up a meeting, and he did a great job. So.
Now, shortly after that, there was a good segue to a question that was presented by the executive of the Lester Group, Mr. Kevin Silvera. And he asked the panel, can you tell me what percentage of products or services you buy that are not bought entirely on price? And it's such an important question because we're always wondering that, right? Are you buying solely on price? Because if you are, I need to find that out sooner rather than later, because if you are, well, we're probably not a good fit. So the answers will come in respective order from Mr. Nathan Marsh of V&M Development. Then we have Abhi Singh of New South Construction, and then Mr. Bobby Kruger of the Kruger Group and Maverick Development.
Yeah, we actually talked briefly about this in my group. Being a smaller company, I don't think I ever probably have the cheapest guy. It still boils down to service. So I put a lot of value on someone that can work with me efficiently, 1 point person that can accommodate deliveries and requests easily. I'm always willing to pay, a little bit more for that level of service. So it's not all about price for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, we were having a conversation with somebody earlier, is if you are going to hire the cheapest plumber to fix your house, contractor is going to hire the cheapest plumber to build their customers' houses, but it's the same thing, right? It's time is money. And as long as it's not egregiously large difference, but there's more to purchasing products, at least in our business, than pure price. It's that service factor, it's reliability, it's trust. And if you can have the lowest price, but if you don't have any of those three, you're not doing business with New South.
Yeah, and I think you get what you pay for, right? So I know from experience that we don't always go with the lowest bidder. Everything that was mentioned before, relationship, the ability to execute, accountability, communication, all of those things are important because at the end of the day, we have to build a product. So I think it's important to have competition and make sure that we're taking these product out to market to make sure we're getting fair pricing. But I do not always go with the lowest price.
Now, in this third clip, Mr. Drew Lebo of Keylink Fencing and Railing asks a really important question. He's curious to learn from the panel how they handle the thought process and the execution of introducing a new product to their offerings. And the responses, which I believe you will get a lot of insight from, come from Miss Megan McCoy-Jones of McCoy's Building Supply, Jen Zuern of Zuern Building Products, and Mike Barrett of Barrett Homes.
Yeah, we have a process for that. I mean, we have kind of an annual calendar where product categories get reviewed. So one of the comments I gave to my group was, I wish you would ask the question, hey, what's your process? I wish that's a great question. We are really loyal to the brands and folks we work with. And so don't get discouraged that you didn't make it in round one. I think what's missing is you can all be great, but if your product is also not great, it doesn't matter really how great you are. Like, it's still got to be a great product or a really great service. And so that is going to take time for us to mutually discover. But yeah, you'd get in that, what we would call a line review, and work you through that process. And that's the best way to get introduced. It's going to take you a little bit to get in. The other one is to have a distributor or somebody vouch for you, somebody in the store or somebody who distributes that product say, I love this. You guys should try it, even in 5 stores. That's what we think about that.
Manufacturer, distributor, referral, right? Trusted friend there.
Bradley, I would also
please.
say if there is a process, I would recommend staying with that process also. There's nothing worse than going into, on our end, going into one of our locations and you're talking to the sales rep. Sales rep's like, yeah, we'll get your product in the showroom. Do not do that. It's really bad because purchasing will be where, for lack of better terms, where the hell did this come from? Why is it here? And we look at, per square footage, you look at what it costs to display, what it costs. So I think if there is that process, you will be respected highly if you dive into it and actually use that process. Because like I said, you may have great relationships with a few people, but ultimately the purchasing team is who we need to wrap around.
So those 3 clips, while small, hopefully were insightful and valuable. If you'd like to share them, obviously, please forward on this episode. You can also see the video content to get a better understanding of what happens at the Sales Fundamentals Workshop and to see these people in living color. You can go to YouTube and please subscribe when you are there. We are going to be putting more and more content out on a little place called YouTube. I know we hadn't heard of it until recently. Turns out it's not a fad. It's going to be around for a while. So we're going to share more insights there. So you can find that. You can also find the other videos that we created for this OSR Academy launch. All of them there are free, and we did our best to provide immediate value. Now, today is our final day for our OSR Academy launch. There's only 24 seats in this cohort that begins in September of 2022 and will go to November of 2023. We only have a few seats remaining, so if you are interested, you will have to act now. We are only going to have 24 seats in this initial cohort. Now, the clips that you heard from these business leaders was taking place at our Sales Fundamentals Workshop. And again, that takes place every April, 2.5 days in Fort Worth. And it is an event that we work all year round to develop great content for and make it a lot of fun and meaningful and valuable. And then once people leave, again, we have these monthly accountability calls and ongoing training, and our Behind Your Back book club continues on where we send quarterly books. So we include a whole bunch of stuff in here to build our community up and keep us closer together. This, our Sales Fundamentals Workshop, is included in the OSR Academy. So within our 15-month, $1,500 per month program for the OSR Academy that only has 24 seats, we only have a couple remaining, the Sales Fundamentals Workshop, a seat in that is included. And because we need to practice what we preach, we're always talking about the importance of testimonials and allowing other people to share their perspectives and their context with your customers and prospects. We're going to do that right here. And here's a short couple clips from folks who attended our Sales Fundamentals Workshop this year.
Overall, my thoughts were this brought huge value. Obviously, I really value my time. And so heading into this, I was like, man, I really hope that this is going to provide that value I'm looking for. And it did, and then some.
I think the Sales Fundamental Workshop was amazing. I took a lot of great things away from it. One of the amazing things I took away was identifying your tar pits and gold mines. I'm very focused on detail, and I think that everything is kind of important. So to kind of identify and categorize the importance and prioritize the workload has been a great takeaway for me, and hopefully I can share that with my team.
My name is Jeff Vandehei with Zuern Building Products. Just wanted to, share the fact that having the opportunity to spend a day and a half plus with a purchaser is invaluable. Usually we're on the other end just trying to get our foot in the door.
All right, my friends, hopefully that was helpful to you. Appreciate your time and attention. We know how valuable it is, and we know there's lots of other competing places who are looking to get your attention. So I'd like to thank our friends at Capital One Trade Credit. If you're interested in increasing cash flow while decreasing risk, please check out Capital One Trade Credit and see if it's a fit for you. And last but not least, my friends, we're going to close out with our leadership mantra. You, my friend, are owed nothing. Deliver value first.